Hey guys, it's Olli from Reckless Love, and you're listening to Cuero y Metal.
Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, tengan todos y sean bienvenidos a la primera entrevista del mes de febrero aquí en el canal de YouTube de Cuero y Metal en Córdoba. No dejen de suscribirse para estar al tanto de todo nuestro contenido. Bueno, en el día de hoy tenemos el agrado de conversar con Olli Herman, frontman de la banda finlandesa de glam metal Reckless Love. Olli, how are you? Welcome to Cuero y Metal Radio Show.
Thank you very much. I just came from the gym. I'm trying to get back in shape because the 2 years off from touring, it means that I'm not in the same kind of my stamina. I need to improve that because before coronavirus, we did like 100 shows per year, and now when it seems like the world is slowly opening up, I realize that I need to keep myself in better physical condition. So I'm trying to get in better shape for the tour.
Olli, antes de comenzar a hablar de música, quiero felicitarte porque sabemos que estás a punto de ser papá y aún así estás aquí hablando con nosotros. Así que bueno, deseamos que tu bebé llegue a este mundo con buena salud y que sea la mejor canción de tu carrera.
Yeah, thank you very much. He's a boy, so I know that much, and he's about to be born any day now because yeah, he's due. The due date is 10th of February, so I think that's next week. So we're living exciting times, and I thank you very much. And actually, all the more reason to keep myself in better shape because I need to be in good health for my kid. I need to be a dad.
Bien.
So I'm sorry.
Yes.
Can I just add that if he takes after his father, he's gonna be a handful. And being a father to a little boy, it's a tough job.
6 años han pasado desde su último disco larga duración titulado Invader y el próximo 25 de febrero estarán publicando Turborider vía AFM Records. ¿Están ansiosos con la llegada de este nuevo álbum?
Oh, super excited. Yeah, the break was not supposed to be that long. We toured for 2 years after the Invader, and actually, our guitarist Pepe, he already had his daughter, so he had. We came back from a tour, so we started talking, and he suggested that maybe we should take a little break because I'm missing my daughter's first steps. I'm missing the time when she needs her dad. So I would like to spend some more time at home. And we thought that, yeah, let's do that. We've just toured for 8 years straight. And we thought that we were going to take a 1 year break, but then it ended up being a year and a half. And right when we were supposed to come back, we booked a 10-year anniversary tour for the first record. It was supposed to be the biggest tour we've done so far. COVID-19 came in and the whole world shut down, and we had to cancel the whole tour. And actually, we would have toured the Latin America as well. We had our first shows booked all over the Southern American continent, and we were so bummed that we had to postpone those shows. But not to worry, we are coming back, and Turborider came about last summer, and I think COVID-19 and the break off from touring, it had something to do with the fact that Turborider came out even better than we could have hoped for. I'm really happy for that.
Tuvimos la oportunidad de escuchar Turborider en su totalidad y podemos decir que se viene un excelente álbum para todos sus fanáticos. ¿Cómo fue el proceso de composición del disco inmersos en esta pandemia de la que estamos hablando?
Actually, because of the pandemic and Finland was in total lockdown, so we had to stay at home, and you couldn't really do anything. You could go outside, but you couldn't and you could go to the grocery store. But the only thing that we actually did was to dig deep into our record collections. And for a guy like me who's lived through the late 80s and early 90s, those were the first bands. That was the era that actually first influenced me, and that's really tough to beat. I think it's even impossible. So kind of like steered back to those records, and I started listening to Billy Idol. I started listening to David Lee Roth's Skyscraper album. I listened to Van Halen's 1984, 5150. I listened to ZZ Top and all those electric drums and synthesizers. That was a crazy era of music. And that I remember that from my childhood. And that really influenced me. And I wanted to do something similar, but with a modern twist. And I came about synthwave, and that kind of influenced our record as well. So we really had some time to dig deep into the music. And so it was kind of like, I think it was easier to concentrate on the album because we couldn't tour and we couldn't do any shows. Mm-hmm. And of course, we started working with Joonas Parkkonen, who used to play guitar in Santa Cruz. And he's one of the best producers here in Finland. And he got really excited about the style of music we had in mind. So that was a really good combination as well.
Totalmente. En este nuevo álbum podremos encontrar muchos sonidos de pop y música disco de los 80s. Además, los videoclips que han publicado hasta el momento tienen toda una impronta gamer o arcade de la época. ¿Cómo surgió la idea de incursionar en este estilo sin dejar de lado el glam metal por el cual nosotros conocemos a la banda?
Well, actually, we all grew up in an arcade. Me and our guitarist Pepe, I think we were just like kids. I think 10 years old when we first met, and I think we were like 12 or 13 when we first went into the local arcade, and we spent so much time in there. That was back in the day when we didn't have console games. We didn't have any PlayStations, so we had to play the arcade games, and that was the place where we spent most of our time, listening to rock and roll and playing the games. Mm-hmm. We played Mortal Kombat, we played the pinball machines, used the air hockey, and all different kinds of, I remember Sega Rally and all those kinds of classic games. And it was kind of like going back into our roots, into the childhood. That was where we grew up, and that's where we learned how to know each other, and that's where we first had fun together. So it was kind of natural. Mm-hmm. And of course, the sounds remind us of the sounds in the games.
A comparación de discos anteriores de Reckless, en Turborider encontramos una abundante presencia de batería electrónica en las canciones. ¿Esto se va a trasladar a los shows en vivos de la banda a partir de ahora, o simplemente fue para reflejar aún más esa esencia ochentosa de la cual estábamos hablando en estas nuevas composiciones?
We are definitely bringing the electric drums to the live shows as well. We love the sound of the electric drums. I mean, they are so over the top and cheesy. Nobody uses them nowadays, and I don't know why. I mean, the guitars are electric. Why not the drums?
Olli, en varios comentarios con respecto a la salida de este quinto álbum de estudio, te escuché decir que Turborider es una especie de renacimiento de Reckless Love. ¿Fue difícil para ustedes volver al ruedo después de varios años de quietud?
Yes, it was really difficult. To take a break means that you have to step away from the thing that you've been doing. And we had done Reckless Love for ages because we started the band back in 2001 already. Mm-hmm. So it was 10 years in the history of the band that we first got to release the first album. And after that, 8 years of straight hard work. And then going off for a couple of years. I'm not even sure. It could have gone the other way. I mean, it could have easily been the fact that we would have not come back. It could have been the death of the band. And I actually wrote the lyrics for the last song of the record, Prodigal Sons. We all had some health issues. We had mental issues because of the lockdown, because of the COVID restrictions, because you cannot do what you love, and you have to stay at home. It was a new situation, and it was a really difficult time for Reckless Love. But I'm glad that we made it through. The whole Turborider character that is on the front of the cover or the cover of the album, that's a metaphor for the whole band, basically. Mm-hmm. It's a reborn monster. We went to hell and came back, only to find out that hell had an impact on us. It changed us, and we're back, but we're different than before somehow. We're still the same, but we are a bit different because of the experience that we had.
Si nos detenemos en el quinto track del álbum, nos vamos a encontrar con una versión alucinante de Bark at the Moon de Ozzy Osbourne. ¿Cómo llega esta canción a Turborider?
It was actually our producer's idea. Jonas and I were talking in the studio, and I mentioned that we haven't done a real cover before. We had covered an acoustic version of Def Leppard's Hysteria, and we did an acoustic version of The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy. But we hadn't done like a real proper whole band electric cover thing ever. And I think Jonas, our producer, I think he took that as a challenge, because of a couple of days later, he came to the studio and he said that he has an idea. Let's make a cover of Ozzy's Bark at the Moon. And me and Pepe were kind of like, really? That song? And but then again, our producer had a point. The new songs all have this certain type of rhythmic quality, which is pretty much similar to Bark at the Moon, and it somehow resembles, for example, Turborider, the rhythm, and it has this same type of really relentless, fast type of up-tempo rhythm. And we kind of like, it made perfect sense right after he said that, and we instantly thought of things that we could do differently from Ozzy. Ozzy hasn't got any electric drums. He hasn't got that much of synthesizers. He hasn't got any vocal harmonies that Reckless Love is known for. So we decided to go in and, just give it our everything.
Sé que tuvieron la oportunidad de tocar algunas nuevas canciones a fines del año pasado en algún show por Finlandia. Actualmente se acaba de suspender el tour que tenían programado por el Reino Unido y Europa. ¿Qué tan complicada está la situación del coronavirus por aquellos lados como para tener la presentación en vivo del nuevo disco en un futuro cercano?
It is a pretty difficult situation, not because of the actual virus, but because of the restrictions. Mm-hmm. They impose such an economic risk to the tour. Because if we go on the tour, we have like 14 people on the tour in the tour bus. Even if one single person gets the virus, we have to stop touring. So the tour stops there. We're in quarantine, and it's ridiculously expensive to have all that personnel on tour. The tour bus is very expensive. If you don't do work, it's not for holidays, so mm-hmm. It's not something that we can do with these restrictions, and it's a really real pity, because we would love to tour again. We would love to go out and see people. We would love to perform to them, and I think the world would need a bit of fun into this situation, and it really was a tough decision to postpone the tour again. Mm-hmm. But we didn't do it because we had really good reasons for it. So, and we're lucky that we didn't have to postpone it with a full year, so that we can actually do it in September. And I have all the faith in the world for the September to actually happen. I think this pandemic has gone long enough now. I suspect that the virus will still stay around, but I hope it's going to get milder, and it's not going to be so dangerous anymore. And I hope that the governments are easing off the restrictions so that we could actually work again. I think the world needs a little bit of fun.
A pesar de ser una banda con 20 años de trayectoria y haber explotado en Sudamérica con el disco Animal Attraction hace más de 10 años atrás, aún no han visitado estas tierras. ¿Hay planes a futuro, al menos anotados en lápiz, de algún tour por Sudamérica y por supuesto con parada obligada acá en Argentina?
Yes, actually there are plenty of plans. I'm not supposed to say when and when what's the actual plan, but we were supposed to. We were just about to release the dates for Latin America and for Argentina as well, back in 2020, before the coronavirus started spreading, and we have been postponing those shows as well. So not to worry, we will do them once the situation allows us. And right now we just have to keep our fingers crossed that this is going to be the last of the restrictions and last of the dangerous times, and this year is finally the year that the world is starting to open up and we get to tour again. And I cannot wait to get to Argentina, and I cannot wait to get to the whole of Latin America.
Bueno, Olli, para ir terminando, te quiero agradecer nuevamente por tu tiempo con Cuero y Metal. Esperamos que la gente suba el volumen para escuchar Turborider muy pronto y cruzamos los dedos para que se puedan hacer estos shows aquí en Argentina, repasando, por supuesto, toda su carrera junto a los fanáticos sudamericanos.
My fingers are already crossed, and I have to say thank you very much for doing this interview and letting me be here with you. And I want to say that, add to the previous one, that actually I think there's two countries that come up into my social media comments all the time. The most usual are either come to Brazil or come to Argentina. And don't worry, we will. We promise, we will.